Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the ninth edition of Coffee with Ashish. And today we've got a very special and esteemed guest with us, Mr. Thampy. And before we get into the conversation with him, as always, we always sort of recap in terms of what all have we been seeing in the last few sessions. And you might all recollect that, we discussed that through advent of GDS and technology, how a lot of manual processes became automated and how different products could all be bundled together, and in fact, through technology and booking engines, a lot of small to medium agents spruced up in the country in the last 10 to 15 years. And a lot of B2C companies also, started up because making a online portal was never so, easy. And that led to sometimes a suboptimal experience as well for a lot of customers because these agents or service providers would do so much of subcontracting. They wouldn't essentially control all the inventory and products, and it would sometimes lead to very funny experiences, which I'm sure all of us have sort of experienced. In fact, as always, I have a couple of cartoons to show you. So this one, it has happened so many times, especially for the naive tier two and tier three towns or first time travelers, where they don't figure out how to manage the passport and visa. And sometimes you see these things happening while you're at the airport, that they are actually trying to figure out, do they have the visa for that country or not. And the second one I have also experienced, and I'm sure many of you could relate, that you book something online, looking at pictures, somebody sells something to you which looks like a five-star hotel, but only when you go to the property, you realize it's actually not what you signed up for and paid for. So these kind of experiences have happened to all of us. But what has happened over last few years at least has been that there have been category leaders. Like, in our show, we have had people like Yatra.com or ClearTrip, which have made their name in a B2C category for sure. Then we have B2B aggregators. We have car products. We had somebody coming and Mr. Wij was there. So you have got these category leaders, but nobody really thought about integrating it end to end and as well as vertically from a product perspective and distribution perspective to create an end to end experience for the industry. And you would be surprised, and at least I was, when you do this research, that in India there is only rarely one or two companies who have attempted to do that. And Ria Travel has been one of those companies, and started such a humble beginning in 1980 by the gentleman we are so privileged to have, Mr. George Maniatu John Thampy. And from that humble beginnings in 1980, where it was essentially a overseas manpower wing, they have really built a massive empire of this company in the last 30 odd years. It's been such an inspirational journey, Mr. Thampy. More and more I read about you, I am personally inspired as a small to medium entrepreneur myself, that from such a humble start you can reach so far. Ria Travel now has 56 offices in 40 cities across the country. It employs more than 2,800 people around the world, and it's got 13 offices in the US, Canada, and UAE itself. And the group turnover now almost touches 15,000 crores, which is $2 billion. I don't know a lot of companies in India who operate in the travel segment and can do that much of GMV. Ria has spread its wings across the board. They are not only in travel, they also run an institute. They also do study abroad. They do corporate travel. They do B2B. They do B2C. Anything and everything you can imagine around travel. Mr. Thampy with his leadership has been able to bring group to a point where it can serve any requirement of travel within India, outside India, in a leisure or corporate environment both. So, with this, a warm welcome to you, Mr. Thampy. We are so privileged that you, shared your precious time to join with us. And, I'm going to invite Ashish to have a conversation now with you while I sit back and enjoy my coffee.
Thank you very much, Mr. Karthik.
So, Mr. Thampy, how's your coffee?
Yeah, it's very nice. What about you?
Good, good. It's a lockdown coffee. But coming back to the preamble Karthik has said, yes, indeed, a 15,000 crore empire, $2 billion US turnover, spanning from business travel to holidays to marine travel to being a very large aggregator for air and other services, including running education, travel, etc. It's been a whole journey. We started in 1980. And today we are faced with some very troubled times. In your own journey, I'm sure you've been, come across many challenges in your life. So one very important thing, and I'll put two questions into one, is that how do you see the next 1 or 2 years panning out for the industry across the verticals you are in, number one? And number two, what is the sharing you have for people across while they listen to you about current times?
First, let me go back to the history of 40 years. So it will be more easy to connect with the coming 2 years too.
Right.
First of all, I want to tell you, there is no shortcut for hard work. People have to work hard. I started my career from 1976. I started my travel company, Ria Travels, in 1980. And all these years, working with the people, together with the employees, with the airlines, with the finance companies, everywhere, the relation, confidence, it is very important. When I was initially a travel visa consultant and along with a manpower consultant, in 90s, I realized that ticketing is very important, because even though I was not doing ticketing with different people only, every airlines called me for my advice and taking me for dinner and lunch. Then I realized IATA business is something very lucrative. So I started studying it. Those time it was, consolidation was regionally. I think Ashish knows about that. North India have few consolidators, West may have consolidators. If you go to Karnataka, Chennai and Kerala, different consolidators altogether. And across all these things, East West Travels was the first one made a national consolidator.
Correct.
It was in mid of 80s. Then one or two came, but they were not successful, like Drawings or one or two. I don't remember the names. So I started, but East West is failed because their attention went to aviation industry. So their attention completely went. That is why they were not able to continue that business. When I studied deep, all these travel companies were worked for 4 to 5 years. In that span of time, they perished. So when I went deeply, I realized that the finance is the biggest problem overseas people. Their concentration never been in the finance side. So from the day one, I realized that the finance is the main area where you should have the proper team for it. You should not lose even a penny from your kitty when you're doing the business, number one. Right. Number two, you have to make a confidence in the customers that their money is also we are not grabbing. They are able to get their money on time. So we made an unwritten rule that the day we get the credit from the item, straight away it will go to the clients. Right. That is why 25,000-30,000 of agents all over India is dealing with us. Out of that, 8,000 to 10,000 is 100% with us. Their confidence is with us. So that's the one side of the travel agency fraternity. The other side, when you want to grow, you should have a confidence in the airline side. So airlines will not give a capping, even though if you have a huge bank guarantee, still they control the capping because they don't want to spoil the headache, or they don't want much issues with the travel agents in the future. Where you have to make a confidence, which took many years to make it. Today, we deal with all airlines, national heads. Through them, we are able to interact with their global heads too. Either I visited them in their country, or whenever they come to Bombay, before they are going to their office, they try to meet us, because not because of anything else, because our office is very close to airports. So that way, today, most of the airlines nationally, we are able to interact. So airline side, any given day, we have an unlimited capping. Otherwise, midnight, if somebody want to go, a customer want to travel, sub-agent will have a difficulty if you don't have the capping. So we have a 24-hour service along with unlimited capping. We are the biggest bank guarantee holder with IATA among everybody in India today.
Right.
The other side, banking support. Finance is very big important thing for us to run this type of huge volume, because every week you have to do 250 to 300 crores. It will not come from the sub-agent's role to pay the payment. So we have a 100% support from the bank. But one thing I can tell you, banking relation, we should be very careful. When the day the travel agent is become weak, bank will try to loot the money. So you have to have a bargaining power. You should have an upper hand with the bank. Every year we try to check how much is the interest what we pay to the bank and what we get from the bank as an incentives, more or less at par, which are very particular that finance knows about it, how to manage it. This one particular area every time I monitor it. The other one important thing, airlines contracting. Every company got a separate department, separate head, they contract it. For Ria Travels, I am the head of that. I myself is interacting with the airlines. So even a single penny I can get from the airlines, I do my homework well and I do it. So to make this type of a company to reach here with hard work, with not only me, with a team of 3,000 employees, we got a core team across India. Along with, we have 6 to 7 top management team. They are managing it and they have their own freedom to manage it.
Right.
So this is the story of 15,000 crores or $2 billion US volume.
Right.
But till now, up to March, we were doing very positively. Mid of March or end of March, all of us were in dark. What is going to happen? What will happen? We never expected, because SARS, we know, it was in China and some South Asian countries, it came and it went. So we all expected that this will happen and it will go back.
Right.
But very soon, alarming news is coming from Europe, US, every corner. Our Prime Minister called everybody, please, you what a Lakshman Rekha, you have to control yourself. Believe me, I am from that day till today, I am under that Lakshman Rekha. I didn't go out of my house itself. Right. So then we realized this, it is going to be a long term. It will not happen within 2 days or 3 days unless until you won't get a vaccine. This year will be very tough. We have to understand that. And I'm expecting end of the year, we may achieve 40 to 50% is if the maximum. More than that, I don't think anything more will happen. If less cracks, if you can come out 2020, that's the positive thing for all my colleagues, I want to tell you. Everybody should be positive. We want to tell you, all the employees of each travel companies try to understand the management difficulties, try to listen to the management, and my request to the management also, take care of the employees with you. But both, it should be a give and take decision, because nobody is making anything. If you take it, April and May, April already it was minus. We used to pay every week more than 250 to 300 crores. Here we are getting 20, 25 crores every week from the IATA. That's the refund condition. So you can imagine it's a minus going in that April. Same thing more or less is happening in May. June also we don't know anything, because the ministry is saying the flight will start, but when it is, nobody knows. Right. Globally, few countries, some airlines are happening, like Qatar Airlines is operating few flights here and there. Myanmar, one flight is happening. Japan, 1 or 2 flights, because we are handling cruise also, because globally, so we know anywhere any flight is there, immediately try to connect to the cruise. Wherever in land available, we try to take them to the container. So we know wherever the flight anytime is happening, it's a pop-up with us also. So this is the present condition. So 2021 will be, it's a dark era for us, but some percentage of money will come with that. I don't think any travel company will be able to cover the cost. Right. 21, 22, more or less 70-75% of the 1920 volume will come. Some percentage of income may come if everybody will be very careful. 22, 23 will be the year we are going to come in a positive thing, especially leisure. All these things will take its own time. Right. Because VFR traffic, 60 to 70% of VFR is above 60 years old people. They want to go to their children, they want to see their grandchildren, all these things with its own time. So I feel better to be very careful this year, keep your pocket tight, wherever it is near, there only you use your money, your luxury should be cut down completely. You had 2 to 3 secretaries, different type of officers, cut down wherever you can your cost. then you can survive. This is my humble request to all my travel fraternity. Thank you very much.
I think you've struck a very fine balance between optimism and caution. So it's come out very well. And I've got many calls from, of course, the small and mid agents, but you must be flooded every day. Should we close our business? Should we give it a pause? I have said only one thing, Mr. Thampy, and I don't know what you would like to add. I said, as long as you're breathing, you're alive. The moment you stop breathing, that's the time you're dead. So don't kill yourself before you die. So what is your advice to?
I will tell you, when I came in 1970s, I joined to a small travel company. That in Bombay, mostly people, our type of travel agents used to do, to send people to Gulf more than Europe and US. So my travel agency, we used to do a lot of UAE visas, like 300, 200 visas in one group will come. It is only one particular paper with Ministry of UAE. In that you can send 300 people. Mostly these people will go by ship. I don't know, you remember shipping, ship
Yes.
side.
I used to
So,
be the
yeah, those time we were to dock and send all these people. All of a sudden, UAE government realized that the agents are not sending the proper candidates. They stopped completely and they made individual name visa. So you have to send all the details to them. Then the ministry will approve the visa, then the visa will come. I was a young boy with 20 years old. So many of my colleagues told, Thampy, this is not a laboratory business. You have to give up this. You study well. You go something else better than this. I didn't give up. I was stood with this business. After that, many calamity, many issues we faced. Iraq, Kuwait war, 9/11, SARS, what else? But still people forget the things and we moved ahead. One more thing I can tell you, whenever the crisis is coming, crisis is for 3 months, 6 months or 1 year. After is 3 times better volume will come. And this is the time people should correct themselves. What are the things, mistakes I done it in the previous? Let us correct, let us move. I am positive. All these agents have to survive. We are already taking care of our agents. We are in touch with everybody. And people knows in the COVID era also, they are reaching to us 24 hours, 24/7. People are alerted, giving the answers, and anybody and everybody can reach to me or our top core team. So people are answerable. They are getting their refunds. We are educating them. In our IT department itself, separate one team, we have made it only for upgrading the agents to interact with the auxiliary verticals much better than what they used to do earlier times. At this is time we are telling them, understand, this is not one ticket. Ticket you will get peanuts. Along with one customer is coming to you, you can do 10 things along with that. Make money from there. And if any customer, even today I am going to a travel agency, if 2 lakhs rupees I am buying, if I will not give 2,000 or 3,000 for that ticket. So nobody will give it. So try to understand that and make money from different verticals, and future is bright. Only earlier I told you same way, you have to cut down your luxuries. If you want to correct and you want to come back, please relook into that and correct the things. 2021 will be the best year for us. I am 100% hopeful, and I don't want any travel agencies to shut down. If anybody is please calling you, please give the details to our department. I will be educated them, we encourage them. We want, they are the bread and butter of this industry. Sir, I will tell you, 80% of the business is coming from these people. These people are spread across India. India is not a country. We are like Europe. We are having different languages, different culture, different eating habits, different religions. But one COVID made all of us to say with a pride that we are Indians.
Yes.
That is more serious than anything else. We can work together. We can make everybody from north to south, east to west. We all are one. We will be able to do that and we will achieve it.
Right. So the underlying message I get is that do your introspections, change the way if you think you have to change the way of your working, and of course, hang on there. And of course, this managing stress, I can see from looking at you that you'll be able to cope up. Well, and I'm sure your continued guidance to all the fraternity will remain as to how to cope up.
Yes.
Um, what do you expect from the government really at this stage? Because there have been a lot of talks, the government should do this and the government, I mean, I work very closely with FICCI, preparing a white paper, and everybody is putting their demands, if I may use that word. But what are your expectations?
First of all, let me tell you, our government's topmost priority is 30% of Indians who are poor, who are daily wages people, who have to have two-time food. People are comparing us with European countries. They have huge budget with them. They can do anything. Like Trump straight away giving millions and billions and trillions, which Mr. Modi or the government can't do it. So first of all, we have to understand. But our industry is giving an employment of more than 8%. It's very big employment. One more thing I will tell you, every year I think, I don't want to educate you, you are much educated than me. Every year 1.5 crores people are coming from the universities. If 2 to 3 years, it will come 5 to 6 crores. If some business group positively moving, if the government can give some more boost, it will happen better. I think all the associations are working hard for that. I'm hopeful something will come very soon by the government in the form of reducing the GST or leave for 1 year GST or tax or some consideration for the employee salary, because it's a hard time for everybody, because any entrepreneur won't be able to take care of the employees with the proper salaries, because I'm hearing from different corner, cutting the salary, removing the employees, all those things are happening. We can't blame the entrepreneurs also. So I'm hoping something will come up. The association leaders are in talks with the ministry along with, I'm happy that Ashish also in that. Please try to get something, and we are very hopeful that something will come.
Thank you. I think with leaders supporting it, we will.
Yeah.
And one of the underlying thoughts in every discussion is of course, embracing technology in a far greater perspective than we have been able to do. But technology throws its own challenges, not only in terms of the cost, but how do you reach it to the grassroots levels? We've been talking about web-based interfaces, and now suddenly you have AI and you have machine learnings and so on. So my challenge has always been, how do we get everybody to embrace it, that everybody is in a diverse platforms? What are your thoughts as to one mantra which can help all this?
Technology is very important, but we are Indians. See, if you go to any European countries or American countries, if you go to an office, you have to go to the pantry and get the coffee for yourself. Here we are pampered very differently. We have our own driver, we have our own peon, we have everything that way. Today, a traveler also want to be very comfortable, number one. Number two, we all need a visa for the passports, majority of the countries. So we need a traditional travel agency with the technology is far better than online company. I'm not against all of my friends. They are grown in front of us only. We are also associating with most of the online companies. But I can tell you, other than the point-to-point, most of the business, even today also will go to the travel agents, because they can make them more comfortable. When they stuck abroad, they can reach the travel agent than an online company, somebody you doesn't know, whom you have to call and you have to understand, or you have to go on online and do the things. Here, any given day, it's better to deal with the company with the technology and manpower along with you can service. That will definitely have a long term, which all these online company grown in front of us, along with we also grown. That itself shows that traditional company got 100% standing in this country. If
Right.
you go to North America, where also we are there, every year we are growing. That's a fast growing technology. Online travel agents are there. Still we are growing. That shows a majority of the people, they preferred, along with the technology, they needed human touch.
Right. I want to address two very interesting business segments Ria is in. One is, of course, the education of universities and children, because India has remained a very large source market over the years for students to go. So the thought always creeps in your mind, would people still go to China to study? Will they go to the US to study? Will they go to Europe? So what are your thoughts on that? And the second interesting, I want us to hear you, is on marine travel. I've always found that very fascinating, that how come that particular segment has evolved, and what is the future with that activity?
Let me first of all source market for the higher education. We are for that. China normally people go because of it was economically little comfortable, but people prefer to go to Europe and US. It will continue. Even today, I can tell you, a number of people are waiting to the flight to start to go to, because all of them got admission, they are stuck here. Some percentage of people already came because they were started their career. In the meantime, the lockdown is declared. There are few flights. Most of the parents call their children here. Now the university will start within a month or two. People want to go back. So these things will continue. There is no two way. We may find out a vaccination, or we may wait for that. We have to keep a social distance, and it will adjust with our body itself. If we are going to continue this, government can't hold for 1 year or 2 year lockdown and keep the people in the home. So government also will going to tell all of us that, okay, you people be careful, do your job. So people, along with the social distancing, people will travel. And opportunities are enough and more for this. China, I don't know how much, because all this international company wanted to ship from China to India. That is, I'm reading in the newspaper, and the people are also talking. So opportunities are India, universities are very good, but Europe, US, Australia, New Zealand, we are having a study abroad, RIA study abroad is there. We normally send people to New Zealand, Germany, Canada, UK, many other countries. Lot of people already got the visas and they are waiting now to travel. So this vertical will grow. It's the future, and every parents wanted to send the children to have an international exposure. You see in American companies, most of the American companies are leading by our Indian people only. They are today billionaires and multi-millionaires. And we got a say in America today. Earlier we had only some medical or some medium level jobs seekers there, but today most of the high-end companies controlled by our Indians. That is because of these people went to all these countries and they studied their higher courses there. International exposure is very important. Every parents who got money, they wanted to do that. So let me come back to marine side.
Yeah.
Marine is one of the toughest business because you have to be 100% live. Not like a corporate is very tough, but this is 300% tougher than the corporate business. Because the team should be every time alerted, because somebody will be in Panama, he have to ship to Philippines, from Philippines somebody have to go back to there, sign in, sign on. Every time it is happening, 6 months to 9 months is the period the people have to work. In that, if they are not able to come back there to see their family because they are seeing only water across for 9 months, nobody can see. I don't think both of us will not be able to work at all in that environment.
Right.
So it is very different, and the confidence in the shipping company to make it is a very tough job. We are today one of the leaders in India. Even now also we already send more than 300, 400 people from different countries to ship. From India we are not able to do it. For that also we are trying different ways to how we can send. So it's a very difficult vertical, but it is one of the best vertical. If you can enter and you can develop, but it's not so easy like you go to a corporate and do a visa and ticketing, all those things.
Right. That's a good learning. And I think I will pass us back to our host, Karthik, to summarize.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Mr. Thampy. In fact, I am getting a lot of questions. It's been like one of the most watched sessions because thousands of people are joining in. So I'm going to maybe consolidate their questions because many of them have similar concerns. So there are two broad sort of themes of questions that are coming in. One is the smaller to mid-sized agents, they are asking that in this meantime, although you're saying 2021 is going to be very positive and everything, but these few 6-7 months, how do they manage their working capital, cash flows, bank guarantees, EMIs, and all those things? And second is, you said use this time to also prepare, improve, enhance your products and everything. What kind of products, what kind of value differentiators can they develop in this time so that when 2021 comes, they really have a full bouquet of services ready to offer to their customers? So what do you have to say on that?
First of all, bank guarantee is up to June 31st. Everybody's bank guarantee will come down because there is no sale, so bank guarantee will come down. So you can study and you can take a decision what type of bank guarantee you need it. Or if you want, our team can guide what type of bank guarantee people have to take it for the future. We also more or less studied and more or less finalized what type of bank guarantee for the coming 1 year we have to hold it. Number one. The other areas, the better thing, we got a 100% team is there. They are studied well. They are doing everything under Mr. Manoj Samuel. Better anybody wanted, better let them give to the details to you. We can take over from you and we can contact them and we can guide them and we can correct them. I don't think there will be any difficulty for that. I'm hopeful all these things positively will happen and we all going to see very soon. And together we will have a cup of tea together.
Thank you. And do you have any advice that what kind of products and what kind of new innovations can a smaller agent do in this time to come out stronger the year after? Do you have any advice apart from regular hotels?
I wanted to tell, we are already making the product in-house for the sub-agencies. Better let they to guide them correctly, that better I do it. Because I think that already technology is doing it. We already direct the team to what they have to do for the medium and small agents, what they have to do it. Bigger agents, anyway, they got their own product with them.
Okay, and last question is that do you also see an opportunity to collaborate with startups? Do you see RIA playing a role of, how some other large companies like Ebix are doing, doing a lot of M&A and consolidated activities, raising funds, helping and build a startup ecosystem around them? Do you see RIA taking that sort of a lead role in the industry?
Not at present. It's a most critical time in this industry. Let everybody to survive this for another 6 months to 1 year. My advice is that everybody, earlier also I told you, limit your expense. Try to take your employees who worked with you for many years. Shoulder them together. Let us complete this year with minimum scratches. Let us come in the next year. That time we can think all these things.
Great. Pearls of wisdom, guys, we have from Mr. Thampy. Ashish, do you have any closing remarks?
Except by learning in this, of course, there have been many learning, is stay together, stay strong, and this industry will bounce back. Obviously, there is need to make some changes, introspection in the way we live, the way we think, the way we work. And with companies like RIA and leaders like Mr. Thampy behind, I'm sure if they all come together and support the industry, we shall overcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Thampy, for joining in.
Thank you very much.
And thanks, everyone.
And I look forward to meeting you in person to have that coffee or tea.
Yeah, please. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day ahead. Bye.